What's up, everybody? I hope you all are enjoying your day. I wanted to take a moment just to show you all a little bit about maybe an experimental way to interact with your syllabi. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to show you how to do it so that you could replicate this for any course that you wanted, but also for this course so that you can interact with the syllabi in a conversational way. So this will use the NotebookLM application created by Google. So I'm going to go to my browser, type in NotebookLM. Because I've used it before, it's going to come up. If you don't have a Google account, you will have to create a Google account. So you can create notebooks for anything, but I created a notebook for our term, Counseling 605, Spring 2025. So the first thing you'll be prompted to do is to upload source documents. So for now, I'm just going to put our syllabi in there. So now we have one source. It's loading now. So then there's a couple different things you can do. And I think what caught maybe the interwebs by storm was the ability to create an audio overview of the source documents, which comes out sounding like a podcast. So over here in the audio overview, you can type any way you might want to customize that review. So I could type anything I wanted into here. I'm just going to say, this is an audio overview for my graduate level course in human appraisal. The audience will be people learning how to become counselors. They will likely have a high level of anxiety as they start the course. Please make the audio overview digestible, giving them all that they need to start the course strong. And we'll just see how it goes. So it may take a couple minutes to generate that audio overview. So while that's doing, I'll show you some other things. You can add notes at any time to the documents. So if I want to say due dates, then I can kind of start to schedule when my due dates are. So if I would go into the syllabus, I could look up any of those due dates and say, 127 assessment report 1. That's not a real due date, but you see the point. And then you can continue to put those in as you want. So there I have one note. You can also ask it to create a study guide. And it'll generate a study guide for you. And one thing that I like about NotebookLM is it pulls directly from the source documents rather than some large language models that are pulling, from all of their training data or searching the web. This is using the training data to inform the interactions with you, but generating like content from these source documents. And at least as far as I can tell, and from what I can read, Google does not use these source documents in future training, so it becomes a little bit more secure there. So now we have our study guide. It gives you some questions about the syllabi and then gives you the answers. As with all generative AI output, you want to make sure to double check this information for accuracy. But because it comes from the source documents, it should be less prone to hallucinations, not completely immune to them, but should be less prevalent. If I wanted to create an FAQ document, I could do that. I could also create a briefing document. And you can see those being generated. Now you can see our audio overview still being generated here. So it may take a little bit of time. One thing I like about this is you don't have to stick on that screen until it's done. So here's our FAQ document. And then here's a briefing document. So you could call this a short synopsis of the syllabi. So this is your studio where you work with various documents. Timeline's actually a new feature I've not tried out yet. But you could add any sources. You could add slide decks, you could add readings, you could add any number of factors. I'm actually now testing this out for some of my literature reviews when I get ready to plan research projects. So for some of the projects that you're working on in this course, you might actually create a notebook for your project and you can upload your readings and resources. This does not substitute for reading the original source. I want to say that very, very clear. In my knowledge and my experience, there's no way to know the information as well as reading it and taking notes yourself. This just gives you another way to interact with that material. So let's say you read an article and then you generate an audio overview of the article and then you create an FAQ about the article. You now have three ways to interact with that material to promote your depth of understanding. One other thing that I think is interesting is the chat feature. So just like all the other large language models and chat interfaces, you can chat using natural language with the source document. So in a maybe interesting kind of way, this is you chatting with the syllabus. So imagine those questions you might have to the instructor and you might not be able to get a response right away. This might be a first place to go. When is that assessment report due again? Assessment report 1 due March 24th during week 10. Assessment report number 2 is due April 21st during week 10. And one thing that's, I think, pretty neat about this is it links right back to the source material. So it's going right back to this syllabus document and showing me where that information is. This is another way that hallucinations are reduced when using NotebookLM. Oh, and it looks like our audio overview is done. But let me do one more chat just for fun. I can say, how can I use AI in this course? So it shows you again those sections of the syllabus that allows you to get those answers. Let's just say, does my instructor allow late work? The course instructor has a specific policy regarding late work. Here's a breakdown. Late assignments may not be accepted. Communicate early and often at the discretion of the instructor. Now I'm going to do one thing that's maybe a little bit more generative in nature. Can you give me 5 tips to get the most out of this course? Engage actively and proactively. Again, it shows you the source document, where it comes from in the syllabus. Communicate early and often. Utilize generative AI ethically and effectively. Pay close attention to the policies. Focus on course objectives and competencies. So again, just another way that you can interact with the syllabus. This does not replace reading it and making your calendars and making sure you've got yourself organized. This just gives you another way to interact with it. To me, there's really nothing that can go above and beyond looking back at a source document. Um, this is just another way to do that. So what I'm going to do here is you can see the audio overview right here. I can change the speed, I can download it, can give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, or I can change it to public access and copy the share link. So rather than play this for you, I'm going to share the audio link for you to listen to on your own. So thanks for listening. I hope you find some value in what you've watched today, and I hope that this will help you set a course for a strong quarter. Remember the basic ethics of generative AI. It does not replace your own learning and the process of learning. It's only another tool to enhance your learning and understanding. There's no replacement for the work of learning. This just adds on top of that. So thank you all and good luck.